While a 4-0 Maryland football team was on a bye last weekend, men's soccer lit Ludwig on fire on Friday with acrobatic goals. Women's soccer and volleyball both went on the road to face some of the best teams in the country, and field hockey picked up a ranked win at home. All that and more on this edition of The Left Bench.
Welcome back to The Left Bench, presented by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Daniel Stein, he's Brendan Weisel, and Brendan, it's so great to be back at the desk once again together.
It's truly unbelievable. I was looking forward to it all summer, and I'm just stoked to be back here.
Let's get right into it. After a ranked win on Friday night, number 10 Maryland field hockey returned to the Plex for a top 10 battle with Princeton, but the Tigers stormed out to an early lead to hand the Terps their first loss in 3 weeks. Both teams are defending themselves well in the first quarter, but Princeton scores here for the game's first goal midway through the second quarter. Maryland plays messy throughout the third, giving Princeton 4 penalty opportunities. With 4 seconds left, Ella Hampson scores, doubling the Tigers' lead. The Terps show signs of life with the Macy Bradford goal early in the fourth quarter, but it's just not enough. Princeton takes the dub, 2-1. Here's Coach Maharg after a 1-1 weekend.
We had chaos and we weren't able to get good organization back. But I thought in the fourth quarter we were able to do that and get back on the board. It's great. We put ourselves in position to tie the game up, just a little bit too late.
To chat more about the past weekend for Maryland field hockey, we are joined by Diamondback beat reporter Christian Andriolas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
And so, Christian, yesterday's performance from the Terps really left a lot to be desired. What went wrong in that game?
I'd say it was the third quarter was really the turning point of the game. The first quarter, Maryland looked like the better team. Their defense has been their strong suit all year long. They kind of prevented Princeton from getting any form of attack. But once it got into the second quarter, Princeton kind of took charge. And then in the third quarter is when I believe Princeton outshot the Terps 7-1. And that's when things really turned into the favor of Princeton. They scored their second goal. And obviously 2-goal deficit in field hockey is a little bit hard to come back from, so I feel like that's where the game really turned.
Yeah, I mean, they scored that late goal, but obviously couldn't get it done. All of Maryland's losses so far this year have come against ranked opponents. It's something Missy Maharg does every season, always has a very tough non-conference schedule. Do you think that's the right decision to always do that?
I do think it was the right decision because in their first 2 losses, they did not get dominated. Like in the Boston College game, I believe, they had 10 penalty corners. They just weren't able to convert on any of them. And against Duke, they even outshot them, I believe, 7-3. And the penalty corners, obviously, they shot much more than them, but Duke was able to convert on 2 of them, while Maryland only was able to score the 1 goal. So I don't think that scheduling the harder ranked opponents was a mistake, but just executing against them is where they've had issues.
And Christian, I mean, Maryland field hockey, a legend in collegiate field hockey, so many national championships. They have a good team almost every year, but this team is a little bit more, it's a little younger. Do you think inexperience is playing a role in this year's team?
Yeah, I feel like it might be easy to say that because they only have a few upperclassmen, Macy Bradford, Josie Holloman, Erica Morris-Adams, and Flora Knoper, who really are in the lineup for them. But I feel like having the younger players, it kind of gives, Missy has said the whole season that it's given the team a lot of depth that they haven't had in years past. So they're able to put more players on the field, but I feel like having the younger players has kind of hindered them so far a little bit with not being able to connect on those opportunities in these games against the ranked opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. Keep it right there. Maryland faces 3 more ranked opponents through the rest of their conference play, obviously the most important part of the season. Where do you see this team finishing in the Big Ten?
Yeah, I feel like definitely a top 5 team in the Big Ten. But obviously their biggest challenge ahead is against Northwestern in a few weeks, which is the #1 team in the country. Obviously they've had trouble beating them in the past and will likely be an uphill battle again this season. But you know, they have 2 more. First true road trip this weekend will be a true test before they face Iowa the weekend after that against Ohio State and Michigan State on Sunday. So I feel like that's when we will really figure out what this team is made of.
Well, Christian, that's all the time we have for today, but thanks for taking the time to talk some field hockey with us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Of course. You can keep up with all of Christian's coverage by going to dbknews.com and following him on X at @CAndrielNews. For Maryland men's soccer, it was a loud Friday night at Ludwig, and the Terps used all that energy for a bounce-back performance against Northwestern. Without their points leader, Stefan GK, the Terps got off to a sluggish start. Northwestern gets the first shot, but enter Leon Kuhl. His second PK puts the Terps up 1-0. Only minutes later, Luca Costabile assists Albi and Dranica down the sideline for a goal, giving the Terps a 2-0 lead in the first half. But Maryland's lead doesn't last for long, as Northwestern's Peter Reese scores to cut the lead in half. Now to the 64th minute. Here's Saddam Masareka scoring a highlight bicycle kick goal to regain a 2-goal lead. Northwestern concedes an own goal in the 77th minute as the Terps cruise past the Wildcats 4-1. Here's Sasha Saravsky post-game.
We started a bit slow, but then we really raised the level after about the 20th minute. And after that, I think we created the majority of the chances and the goals. So I'm really proud of our team.
And now the Terps have yet to lose a match this entire season. And Brendan, that match versus Northwestern reminds me of a similar one, maybe on your first year on campus about 8 years ago.
Yeah, I think that was my freshman year, so I'm on my 12th COVID year now. But yeah, it's been a good time. Let's go back to September 29th, 2017. Sebastian Elney opened up the scoring off a deflection to give the Terps a 1-0 lead. Then Jake Rozansky finished a beautiful cross from DJ Reeves to secure a second goal. The Terps put the game out of reach when Umar Sejdic converted a penalty kick for the 3-0 win. This win extended Maryland's regular season undefeated streak to 27 games, which are two very similar Friday night dubs for the Terps at Ludwig. And you know, Maryland, those two games are actually very similar. They had a penalty kick goal, they had some acrobatic goals, but Maryland's probably hoping that season ends a little bit differently than the 2017 season did.
It's really awesome to look at, Brendan, because Sasha has been there for 32, 33 years now. The team has such a rich history. You can go back 8 years and still find Maryland men's soccer being just as dominant as they are now. Now, still to come with football on the bye week, we'll take a look around the Big Ten.
And we see how women's soccer and volleyball matched up against top 10 opponents on the road. Don't go anywhere.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Brendan Weissel, that's Daniel Stein. And Daniel, going into the Maryland football season, wide receiver was a big question.
Yeah, between seniors Shalik Knotts and Octavian Smith, I mean, this wide receiving core has been completely rebuilt, and they've really put up some great numbers in the early season.
Absolutely. And it means more targets for the two seniors, and it's also led to a smoother transition for true freshman Malik Washington, who's quarterbacking the Terps to be one of just 4 undefeated Big Ten teams.
TSC's Ryan Martin has more on what Smith and Knotts have meant to Maryland in their final seasons of eligibility.
Maryland football's been dancing through the first month of its season. The Terps are undefeated and receiving votes in the AP poll. All while having an anomaly in the new world of college athletics. In an era where many student athletes use the transfer portal to solve playing time problems, senior receivers Shalik Knotts and Octavian Smith Jr. have instead seen things through in College Park. The duo has waited its turn and now know it's their time to lead Maryland's offense.
I want to say trusting in my coaches, trusting in my teammates. As of right now, the season started off great.
With Ty Felton now a Minnesota Viking and Caden Prather a Buffalo Bill, Knotts has reinvented himself this season. Already having more receiving yards and touchdowns this month than he had in the previous 3 years combined.
He stayed down and trusted the process. He's been here for 4 years. He's always been an amazing player. He was just waiting for his name to get called, and this year, his senior year, he stepped up.
Knotts has become a veteran for the Terps, along with Octavian Smith Jr., a true senior out of Burtonsville, Maryland, who's also pacing way beyond his previous season averages. The two receivers, who have gone through 3 offensive coordinators with Maryland, have provided stability in 2025.
They've been amazing. Sometimes they're kind of like a safety blanket, just because I know that at the end of the day they're going to make the play when the ball is in the air.
To see those two in particular, how much they've grown. Malik has a lot of confidence in punch. I know he has a lot of confidence in op.
Maryland next hosts Washington on Saturday, a Big Ten test that'll have the Terps relying on their big play receivers.
Those are 2 older guys who've been here for a while. I know Shalik's been waiting his turn behind some great receivers, some NFL players, so I knew 5 is a guy that can fly, so I put the ball out there and let him make a play.
And a great job on the package there, Ryan. And Brendan, in the last 5 years, but there's been so many good Terp wide receivers. You have Caden Prather, you have Ty Felton, even go back to 2019 with DJ Moore, bear down. But now it's great to see just the next generation of wideouts, especially with the freshman quarterback, Malik Washington.
Yeah, some of those guys started at Maryland, some of those transferred in, but at this stage in, Mike Loxley's career, it's important to still be building up that recruiting base, and, as we see with Malik Washington, freshmen can make an impact, so it's been a solid start. Maryland football may have taken the week off, but the rest of the Big Ten was in full swing.
TSC's Rachel Lawrence played scout team for us. Rachel, what happened around the conference this weekend?
Yeah, Brendan and Daniel, lots of good matchups and ranked wins, and what might have been the game of the year. Let's start with the big noon kickoff game. The number 23 Fighting Illini took down the number 21 ranked USC Trojans 34-32, thanks to a clutch field goal by David Alano. In the middle of the third quarter, Dylan Rosiak picks off USC quarterback Mayova to give Illinois the ball. Now, flash forward, with only a couple seconds left, David Alano launches it from 41 yards, high and tight, right over the goalpost, and the team absolutely loses it. And they're not the only ones. The fans came flooding out of the stands as well. Now, the Terps play the Fighting Illini on November 15th in Illinois. Now, staying in the Midwest, the 11th ranked Indiana Hoosiers beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 2015 for the first ever 5-0 start in their program history. To the fourth quarter, where Lewis Moore intercepts the ball, setting up the Hoosiers. And with just over a minute left, and senior Elijah Surratt receives it from Fernando Mendoza, and boom, that man is gone. Right down the middle for 49 yards to secure the historic dub. Maryland's homecoming game this year is against Indiana on November 8th. And of course, we can't talk about Big Ten play this weekend without mentioning the absolutely insane ending to Penn State's annual whiteout game, where the Oregon Ducks go in Happy Valley and win in double overtime. Here's the play that sent the game into overtime the first time, a handoff to Devontae Ross for a touchdown, tying it 17-17. Now into the second overtime, Oregon has the lead, and Penn State's QB Drew Aller drops back passes, and it's intercepted by Dylan Thieneman, and the Ducks waddle home with the win, 30-24. Terp fans are probably happy that neither of those two teams are on the schedule this season. And finally, to the Terps' next opponent, the Washington Huskies, hosting the reigning champions, the Ohio State Buckeyes. And after a close 3 quarters, OSU takes the win 24-6. Jeremiah Smith scores the touchdown that opens the floodgates. He finishes with 8 catches for 81 yards. C.J. Donaldson Jr. seals the deal, and the Buckeyes crush Washington's 22 home winning streak. Andrew McBride joining me now. The Terps had an off week, and now attention turned to the Washington team that just lost to a top team in the country. And Andrew, this one's more important than most.
Yeah, Rachel, Maryland's 4-0. Washington is coming off a loss to Ohio State. It's Parents' Weekend. CQ's going to be packed, but I have more information on why this game holds so much weight. And Maryland fans, you might want to cover your ears, as the Terps are not very good after the bye week under head coach Mike Locksley. But first, a quick reminder that Maryland is coming off a statement 27-10 win over Wisconsin in Madison. The Maryland defense stood tall, allowing just 61 rushing yards, 10 points, and an interception. Malik Washington shined in his first Big Ten game, throwing for 265 yards and 2 touchdowns. A lot for the Terps to be proud of. Now, all the focus is on next week. But I first want to take a little trip down memory lane. 7 years. That's how long Mike Locksley has been at the helm of Maryland football. In that time, he earned 3 bowl game wins and started 3-0 or better 4 times. That's exciting. But do you know what is not exciting? Bye weeks. Boo. Maryland football does not find bye weeks or the games a week later exciting either. Why, might you ask? This. Yes, you were reading this record right. Under Mike Locksley, Maryland is 0-8 in games after the bye. Not good, no matter how you slice it. So how does this happen? Well, let's take a look at the history. Spoiler alert, it doesn't get any better. In those 8 Maryland losses coming off the bye, the Hardshells lose by an average of almost 26 points. Lose to Penn State by 59. Lose to Nebraska by 47. Indiana by 16. Minnesota by 18. Wisconsin by 13. You get the gist. Of these 8 games, the Terps came marching in with a winning record 7 times and got squashed each time. So now, all eyes are on the Terps. They are 4-0 and have their biggest game coming off the bye in the Locksley era. The pressure is on. Win, and Locksley has the best start to his season in his tenure as head coach. Maryland makes a strong argument to be ranked after receiving 7 votes in this week's AP poll, and they will have all the momentum heading into a matchup with Nebraska. Lose, Locksley falls to 0-9 after the bye. Maryland loses a game it can't afford to, with 3 ranked opponents still left on the schedule, and all the good that the Terps put together to start the season, well, you can wave goodbye. So Daniel, Brendan, a lot of pressure on Locksley and the whole team to stay hot this weekend and put everything I just talked about to bed. All they need to do is win. Back to you guys.
Andrew broke that down brilliantly, and it's such a weird stat because obviously in theory, bye week, you have an extra week to prepare. The team should be ready to go. Under Locksley at Maryland, under Locksley at New Mexico, that just hasn't been the case. I personally don't put too much stock in that stat. I think Maryland wins the game, but it's just such an odd thing to look at.
Yeah, I agree. It shouldn't be something that's that big of a deal, but when it's happened 8 times in a row, I'm sure a lot of Terps fans are kind of wondering, wait a minute, why does this keep happening? But over onto the field, Maryland women's soccer made it out west on Sunday to face number 4 UCLA, and the Terps could not return to the East Coast with a W, dropping this one 1-0. The Terps were held to just 1 shot in each half, but for much of the game, the defense actually held pretty strong. The game remained scoreless until the 70th minute when Bella Wynn sneaks one into the top right corner, giving the Bruins the lead. The Terps have a hard time all game, even against UCLA, who outfouled the Terps 11-2. Maryland drops to 6-6 on the season and will have a week off before it returns home to face Illinois.
After opening the Big Ten schedule losing in straight sets to Iowa, Maryland women's volleyball headed to Nebraska to take on the top-ranked team in the nation. The Terps dropped that game in straight sets too. Nebraska takes the first set 14-25. So let's jump to the middle of the second set. Cornhuskers up by 7, but here come the Terps. Duru Gokchen ignites the Terps with a kill. They keep the momentum and score 10 of the next 12 points. An ace for Maryland ties the game at 22. Harper Murray says not so fast and wins the set for Nebraska. Set 3 was exactly like set 1, and the Terps lose in straight sets.
Now stick around because when we come back, we'll run back one of our favorite games, Guess Who?
And we'll reveal our Terp of the week and our top 5 plays. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to the Left Bench, brought to you by Terrapin Sports Central. I'm Brendan Weissel. That's Daniel Stein. And Daniel, the Terps have had a very strong showing in September at home.
That's right, Brendan. Volleyball, football, and men's soccer are all undefeated at home this year.
I mean, truly, it's hard to believe, especially since October is right around the corner. So let's take a look back at the Left Bench's best moments from September.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
This one is special. We are so lucky to be going live on YouTube.
Anytime we under them lights, that's when the stars shine bright.
Once again, got a clean sheet and scored a couple of nice goals.
We're trying to get really good at what is the challenge of the day, what do they do, and how do we adapt, and how do we figure that out.
How's your job going?
Good. Yeah, it's been amazing, the trust and the confidence that the team gives me.
7 was really efficient for us.
Yeah, let's go with the Kai roll. Let's go with it.
The defense has got to be better. The secondary has got to be better. We've got to be better secondary.
Good goal, but we expect her to do that, and we need her to do that.
Come with me to Madison, Wisconsin while I cover the Terps' next football game against the Badgers.
You want to see guys, laughing and smiling and having fun with the game, because at the end of the day, it's still a game that we all love to play, and we're here collaborating together.
I'm worried about an eye.
Okay. I think we need to get people out here. The students, the community, the faculty, the staff, everybody, the pets. We need to get people out here because this team deserves to have people out here.
They are really showing what Maryland's men's soccer is made of.
Be happy. Enjoy yourselves. Wave. Harder. Like you like it.
That September recap was awesome, but frankly, Daniel, the defense, it just has to be better. And my favorite moment from the recap was Drew just going off on the Saints. And I hope she keeps making those videos because they're hilarious.
Yeah, that was awesome. Drew, please keep making those videos, but just great coverage all around from the crew in this month, and it was really fun to see all the different games. Well, now it's time to play a game of Guess Who. Just like it sounds, we're going to try to guess who it is. Our producers picked out some Maryland athletes and coaches, and we're going to try and guess who it is from the zoomed-in picture. Let's get started.
Let's do it. They said athletes and coaches, so that's a bit of a help for us. All right, someone on the sideline wearing an Apple Watch. This could be anybody.
Very generic. I mean, right away there's two in my mind. I think it could either be Sasha likes to wear black. It could be Sasha Swarovski.
Yep.
It could be Missy Maharg as well, because just kind of by that position, way she's kind of like holding her hand. I don't know. I think one of those
I wish I could read the time on the Apple Watch. Maybe I could figure out what time their game was being played. It might say 6 o'clock, low-key, a night game, or the date. None of those are going to help me, though, but that could have been, if I knew the days they played, that could be very helpful. I thought it was Missy Maharg off the rip, so I'm comfortable going with that.
I'll go with Sasha just to be different. So
all right.
Before we take a look, let's see.
Oh man. You put it in my mind, but I'll take that. Up 1-0 here. So
nice picture. Good job, Aiden, on the picture. All right, 1-0.
Very nice.
Let's see the next one.
All right.
Okay.
Ooh, wow.
So we got some Under Armour representation here with the headband and the hair. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this is a football player.
Yeah, I agree, obviously. No, yeah, it's definitely someone on the football team. I'm thinking wide receiver.
It could be wide receiver. Caleb Webb doesn't have hair like that. I'm just going down all the wide receivers. Yeah. Octavian Smith doesn't.
Does Shalik Knotts?
Shalik Knotts might have.
It might have that. That might be what I'm thinking. I know like Daniel Wingate has bigger hair, but it's not that color. I don't know.
It could be Daniel Wingate, actually.
No, his hair's orange, I think, so far. And since Sidney Stewart, they've had like that orange hair.
Could it be like Zahir Mathis?
I have no idea. I'm gonna go Shalik Knotts.
Okay, I'll go Shalik Natsu
All right,
since you got it right last time.
Yeah, we'll see,
Let's take a
we'll
look.
see what we can do.
Oh, man. Well, we were in the neighborhood,
Not
skill
ideal.
position, you know. But
All right, 1-1.
I'm 0 for 2 at this one.
This is a terrible photo. Sorry, the photo's fine. It's just very blurry. And with my old eyes up here, I mentioned it's my 10th senior year, so I can't see. It's somebody on the volleyball team, but
Even in your PhD year, you can't figure
yeah,
this
even
one
in
out,
my
huh?
I honestly,
I have an idea for this one.
looks like a number that's a stick, so maybe a 1. What do you have?
So I think this is volleyball.
Yeah, I think it has to be,
just
right?
because it's like a tank top like type jersey with the sleeve. I think this is AJ Malawal for volleyball. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name right, but
I like this guess. I know what you're talking about.
okay.
Should we do it?
I'm gonna lock that one in. Hey.
Yeah,
There we
that's
go.
right. Very nice.
Okay.
That was zoomed in. That was tough. All right, 4th one. They usually try to troll us here.
Oh boy.
What are we even looking at? This is a very old picture of Maryland men's soccer, I believe. I wonder if it's someone from the 2017 recap that we were talking about earlier.
Oh boy.
I
I mean,
mean,
you're right. I think
It's their old jerseys. They don't wear those jerseys anymore, and it's got to be men's soccer, right?
just a generic guess, just somebody from the crew, maybe. You're right though. It is an old jersey.
I mean, I'll go DJ Reeves, who we talked about earlier. I mean, it's someone who wore number 10 on the men's soccer team.
Okay,
at some point previously in history.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark, and I'm gonna say this is Michael Marciano. for
Oh
when he
my
played
God, that's
for-
actually a way
played
better
for
guess.
Sasho.
Yeah, it kind of looks like him.
Mine knower, let's
I could
see.
see him. Oh, Marciano, that's a really good guess. Let's do that.
Okay.
This looks like about 2000.
We'll both guess it. Oh, okay.
Oh God, are we serious? I was right on the sense that it was someone from the 2017 team. I guess this is a 2017 men's soccer themed episode so far.
Yeah.
I mean,
well,
that's honestly, we did not do
I think we tied. We each get one.
I don't know.
I'm
I really like the
disappointed.
Marciano guess there.
I thought that was the intellectual guess, but I
I
guess
thought we really did something there, but we literally did nothing.
we guessed wrong. Okay, well that was a good way to test some of our skills, but why don't we give out some awards to some Terps who stood out last week?
Yeah, these people have actual skills. What we just did was not impressive. I'm going to get us started. Let's talk Terp of the Week. It seems like this guy could have been the Terp of the Week every show so far this year, but the bicycle kick goal sealed the deal. Saddam Masareka is our Terp of the Week. Masareka has been leading the offense for the Terps so far this year with 4 total goals on the season. Even better, he has generated at least 2 shots in all but 1 game. Friday night against Northwestern, he had 4 shots, but none more important or impressive than his bicycle kick off the goalie's fist and into the net. The guts to try that are unbelievable, and the execution somehow it's even better. Daniel, I suspect that play will be in contention for Play of the Year come December.
And you know what that means? I can't wait to see one of us recreate that in the spring.
That's going to be unbelievable.
Now for our Pro Terp, we'll move to the gridiron, where an NFL veteran dialed up his best game of the season. It's Stefon Diggs. Now when Diggs' New England Patriots hosted the Panthers on Sunday, he just turned back the clock. Diggs hauled in 6 passes for over 100 yards, and for those who are mathematically challenged like me, that's almost 17 yards per catch. Diggs was a key factor in the Patriots' 42-13 blowout win over Carolina. Congrats to Stefon for being named this week's Pro Terp.
All right, it's now time for top 5 plays. I think we know what number 1 is going to be, but I'll let you get us started.
All right, we'll take a look. So at number 5, roll the clip. It's Albi Endranika from the right side, as our friends across the pond say, Slotsville, California. Great goal there for the Terp.
Absolutely perfect. Let's go to the Plex and let's talk field hockey. Macy Bradford gets it up on her stick and slashes it into the goal. That stick work is super impressive. Unfortunately, the Terps don't get that win.
Great play nonetheless from Macy Bradford. At number 3, in the middle, Maryland volleyball, Lily Wagner, whoop, onto the right corner, right on the line. When you take a look at that replay, Wagner, what a shot there to earn the Terps the point.
I mean, what an absolute dot to that back corner. Let's go number 2, Lasse Kelp, Maryland, down a man, needs a goal to get the point, and he buries it in the back right corner of the net. That was a huge goal for them to get the draw.
Need some help? Call Lasse Kelp. And at number 1, we'll stick with Maryland men's soccer. Saddam with the overhead kick. I mean, why are we acting like we're surprised by this? What a goal from Masareka. He's been fantastic all season long. I mean, I don't even think I can even attempt to make that kick.
No, the play is absolutely unbelievable because he goes to start the bicycle kick and he has no idea the goalkeeper is going to punch the ball. The timing and the physics worked perfectly, and it's honestly, it's a thing of beauty. If they just want to roll that clip for the next hour on the show, I'd be fine with me.
I'd be fine with that too. Well, that about does it for this week. Be sure to keep up with all of TSC's content on Instagram, X, YouTube, and online at terrapinsportscentral.com.
Thanks for joining us. Ryan Martin and Ben Geffner will be behind the desk next week.
Same time, same channel. We'll see you next week live at 6:30.